Ever since WWE's fierce rival WCW went out of business in 2001, it had a monopoly in the wrestling business. Sure, TNA or Impact Wrestling provided a good alternative for some time, but they could never compete with WWE's massive scale. Every wrestling fan would attest to the fact that WWE wasn't great in the latter half of the 2010s, but lacking any other viable option meant they were stuck with the Stanford-based promotion. Enter All Elite Wrestling, a promotion that has proven to be a legitimate competitor to WWE. This not only enhanced the rights to choose for fans, but also for many wrestlers who had a new potential employer in the business. But who were those performers? Who jumped ship at the first chance? Let's look at 12 WWE wrestlers who joined AEW and the reasoning behind it. Chris Jericho. One of the very first wrestlers to associate with AEW, Jericho has been a cornerstone of the company. After a long and enduring career in WCW and WWE, he felt he needed a different challenge, hence Y2J left WWE for new pastures. His acquisition was a major coup for the Jacksonville-based company. Jericho's years of experience in the ring and reputation as one of the all-time greats helped AEW get some much-needed traction. He's the first ever undisputed WWE champion, a title he earned by beating two legends, The Rock and Stone Cold, on the same night. That was just one of his achievements, as he had a run-in with all the who's who of WWE: John Cena, The Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and the list goes on. Within AEW, Jericho has taken on the role of a locker room leader, both backstage and in the ring. He has led stables like the Inner Circle and more recently the Jericho Appreciation Society, which has given valuable experience to many unknown names and helped them establish themselves. Jericho is an active member of the roster and is also the current FTW champion. Sting. When WCW folded in 2001, most of the major wrestlers in the company jumped ship to rival WWE, except for six-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion Sting. It took almost 13 years for the Stanford-based promotion to finally convince the Icon to step inside the ring. This was after his decade-long association with TNA. Sting's first appearance in the 2014 Survivor Series pay-per-view is among the most shocking WWE moments ever. His ensuing battle with Triple H at WrestleMania 31 was a dream match for many fans for years. The Sting's time with WWE ended abruptly because of an injury he sustained in a match with Seth Rollins. The injury was thought to be a career ending at first, but the legendary performer announced his retirement while being inducted into the Hall of Fame class of 2016. Sting's decision to join AEW in 2020, following his inability to compete in WWE, could be seen as proof of his love for the business. He aligned himself with Darby Allin and fostered a mentor-protege relationship with him. The Vigilante actively participated in the tag team matches the next 3 years before retiring in March 2024. His mentorship and guidance have been invaluable to the younger generation of wrestlers in AEW. Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. If there ever were a duo that epitomized the extreme in professional wrestling, it would undoubtedly be the Hardy Boys. Both Matt and Jeff Hardy made daring maneuvers seem effortless, their high-flying style and daredevil attitude instantly capturing the hearts of fans. Who could forget their Spot Fest TLC match against the team of Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys? The encounter has since become an all-time classic in the WWE. Both Jeff and Matt had long and fruitful careers in WWE and had storied careers over the years. While Matt departed WWE in 2020, citing differences in creative inputs with the company, Jeff was released from his contract in 2021 because of walking away from a tag team match. The senior Hardy brother joined AEW in 2020 and reintroduced his broken gimmick. He later shifted to the big money character which managed kayfabe parties. The later years of his time in AEW also featured a reunion with his brother Jeff. Matt chose not to sign a new contract with AEW in 2024 and joined TNA instead. Jeff, on the other hand, debuted in AEW in 2022. His arrival, however, was marred by the return of personal demons, as he was arrested for another DUI offense. This led to him being suspended from the Jacksonville-based company indefinitely. The charismatic enigma returned to in-ring action after almost a year in 2023. Since then, he has continued to be an integral part of AEW. CM Punk. CM Punk must be one of the most controversial wrestlers in WWE history. Debuting initially in the revamped version of ECW, he slowly earned his way to the top. Winning back-to-back Money in the Bank matches established him as a top star in WWE. But it wasn't until Punk's iconic pipe bomb promo that he garnered worldwide attention. Combining them with this impressive ring work meant that the WWE had a main event at their hands. The Second City Saint went on to win the WWE title twice before abruptly walking off from the company in 2014. He was admittedly unhappy with the apparent negligence of WWE's medical staff. The straight-edge superstar even tried unsuccessfully at the UFC in 2016, but still vowed never to return to the wrestling world. However, CM Punk shocked the entire world by joining AEW in 2021. What followed was successful feuds with the top names such as Jon Moxley and MJF. His reputation of being a difficult peer to work with turned the AEW locker room against him. Punk's falling out with Jack Perry at AEW All in London proved to be the final nail in his coffin, and he was finally fired from AEW. Punk would have the last laugh though, as he famously returned to WWE in 2023 Survivor Series War Games PLE to a raucous reception from his hometown Chicago fans.
It is a belly-to-belly by Swagger, both men, friends and business associates.
Jack Swagger. Jake Hager, or Jack Swagger, had an impressive resume even before joining the WWE in 2006. He was an NCAA Division I All-American at the college level. Swagger's time in the WWE was mostly remembered for his Money in the Bank cash-in in 2010 to win his maiden World Heavyweight Championship, and his portrayal of a patriotic character with a dim view of immigrants. The towering performer was a part of the WWE for over a decade before calling it quits in 2017. He admittedly asked for his release from the company due to a lack of a viable future for him there. Some sporadic, independent circuit appearances later, he found himself joining AEW in 2019. Once there, he has since aligned with Chris Jericho and has been one of these two factions, namely the Inner Circle and Jericho Appreciation Society. Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe has been a major name in the wrestling circles for more than 2 decades now. Even though he has been part of TNA and WWE, he has never truly left his roots in the independent circuit. Joe has had lengthy spells in Ring of Honor and at Lucha Underground. His 2015 arrival in NXT was met with a huge anticipation by the fans. The submission machine did not disappoint either, winning the NXT Championship thrice. This led to a call-up to the main roster, wherein he feuded with some of the best names in the WWE. Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns were some of Joe's opponents as he vied in the main event picture. He also had a spell as the United States champion in WWE before an injury forced him to don the role of commentator. Joe was shockingly released from WWE in 2022 for no apparent reason. WWE's loss turned to AEW's gain, and he joined the AEW-owned Ring of Honor in 2022. Since then, Joe has been on an exceptional run. His reign as the ROH television champion lasted a record 574 days. The lack of strong contenders for his title meant that he relinquished the belt and pursued the top prize, the AEW World Championship. To no one's surprise, a dominant Joe beat then-champion MJF to win the prized possession. He has been the AEW World Champion since. Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose, or Jon Moxley as he is now addressed in AEW, is the former third member of The Shield who decided to pursue the road not taken. He, along with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, changed the landscape of wrestling ever since their WWE debut in 2012. Once the gloss of the dominating trio vanned, all three embarked on their single careers. While Ambrose did taste the occasional success in WWE, he failed to reach the heights his mates Reigns and Rollins attained. And after a career that lasted almost 7 years, he finally left the Stanford-based promotions in 2019. Reason? He cited a constant difference between him and Vince McMahon over his character's on-screen portrayal. Where many would have cracked, the Lunatic Fringe took it up as a new opportunity and joined AEW in 2019. He has since been an essential cog in the success of AEW over the years. Jon Moxley, as his new AEW moniker goes, held the AEW World Championship for a whopping 277 days. Earlier this year, he would create history as he became the first ever wrestler to hold the WWE Championship, AEW World Championship, and NJPW's IWGP Heavyweight Championship. A remarkable achievement for a performer who was considered an afterthought in his later WWE years.
Paige with the Rampage!
Paige. Entering the WWE wrestling industry is a marathon, and it takes a considerable amount of time for wrestlers to make their name for themselves. Enter Paige, who dramatically won her first ever WWE Divas title on her main roster debut in 2014. The whole world stood and took notice of the young wrestler who immediately catapulted herself into wrestling glory. Not many remember that Paige formed a stable Team PCB, along with modern-day greats Charlotte and Becky Lynch, who were in the nascent stage of their main roster career. A neck injury in 2017 proved career-ending as Paige initially announced her retirement from in-ring competition in 2018. She remained a part of WWE in various TV authority roles before bidding adieu to the promotion in 2022. Her failure to convince WWE authorities to return to the squad circle was considered the primary reason behind her departure. That was not going to be a problem for her in AEW, where she debuted the same year with the name Saraya. She had her first wrestling match in the ring for 5 years, facing Dr. Britt Baker. Saraya would also go on to capture the AEW's Women's World title in 2023. But her reign lasted for a paltry 44 days. She has continued to flourish in her AWE journey.
Look at this. We are not going to take...
Bryan. Daniel Bryan was a polished diamond even before he reappeared in WWE back in 2010. It was Bryan's successful time in the independent circuit, most notably Ring of Honor, that cemented him as one of the best new talents in the wrestling industry. However, he had to prove himself to the WWE's top management year in and year out to become a main event player. Even then, he had to rely on the unreal yes movement by fans to finally get him his long overdue first WWE title. The euphoria, however, was short-lived, as Bryan had to relinquish his title within 2 months owing to an injury. This would start a chain of events that finished with him initially retiring from wrestling in 2015. It was a miracle when the former Team Hell No member sparked a comeback to the ring in 2018. After 3 more years in the company, he finally left WWE in 2021, becoming the latest addition to the already star-studded lineup in AEW as Bryan Danielson the same year. His inclusion gave the promotion a reliable performer who could have 5-star matches with just about anyone on the roster. Danielson's feud with popular AEW names such as MJF and Jon Moxley helped build the reputation of the company. He continues to deliver bangers, as his recent encounter with Will Ospreay was appreciated by fans all over for his top-notch quality.
Rusev turns the attention. Look out!
Rusev, the Bulgarian Brute, has been an essential part of the WWE mid-card ever since his main roster debut in 2014. He portrayed an anti-American gimmick, along with his valet, Lana. During Rusev's time in WWE, he was involved in various storylines. One of them put him in a love triangle situation involving his real-life love, Lana, and Bobby Lashley. The story arc was heavily criticized in many quarters and was seen in bad light. After 6 long years, Rusev was abruptly released in the 2020 COVID-19 budgetary cut releases. He joined many of his colleagues as Miro in AEW in 2020. Even though the Force Switch has helped him win the TNT Championship once, overall it has not worked as well as he would have hoped. A combination of injuries and a lack of compelling storyline have meant that Miro has spent most of his time in AEW on the sidelines. Goldust, the eldest son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Goldust's WWE debut dates far back as 1990. He had several spells in the company over the years, the last of which amounted to 6 years. Rhodes is widely regarded as one of the best technically gifted wrestlers of his generation. However, he failed to match his potential with his achievements in WWE. Nevertheless, the Bizarre One still managed to win the coveted Intercontinental title thrice and the tag titles thrice. He left the WWE in 2019 and entered the AEW world in the same year. Goldust has a critically acclaimed encounter with his brother Cody Rhodes at AEW's Double or Nothing PPV in 2019. His contract with the promotion pits him not only as a wrestler, but also as a coach for newer talents. Rhodes continues to be an asset for AEW both off and on screen. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes has had quite a journey when it comes to his career in wrestling. From the blue-eyed boy who joined the WWE's main roster in 2007 to the man who won the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania XL, he has come a long way. Rhodes began his time as a Randy Orton protege as a part of his heel stable, The Legacy. If being the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes' son, was not enough, his spell with the faction gave wings to his wrestling career. After the group disbanded, the American Nightmare struggled to maintain his momentum as he got stuck in the mid-card. The galaxy-chasing Stardust persona did not help either. Rhodes gave his absolute best in the gimmick, but sadly he was stuck in limbo. The lack of vision for his character led to the departure from WWE in 2016. The 38-year-old wrestler was just getting started as he played an instrumental role in the AEW seeing the light of day. Serving as the EVP of the newest player in town, he helped create a legitimate threat to WWE's monopoly. As a true locker room leader, he helped build new superstars like MJF, Sammy Guevara, and Darby Allin, to name a few. The one-time AEW TNT champion looked set for a long haul until he left AEW abruptly, citing personal reasons. What followed was a new pathway, a successful AEW performer joining WWE. This time round, Rhodes was presented as a top star and booked strongly, defeating the likes of Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar before the biggest win of his career in WrestleMania XL against Roman Reigns, finally finishing his story. There's no doubt that the advent of AEW has forced WWE to up its game big time. The real winner in this scenario is a fan who can't get enough of professional wrestling. The wrestlers who are hailed as the next big thing are actively signing for AEW. Recent signings of Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay prove that times are changing. However, competing against a global wrestling superpower in WWE could be a daunting task, one that requires much more than just hiring ex-WWE talent.